Hello. Yes, Sujat.
You can take this mic over here. You can keep it. I'm making it shut. Okay. ठंडा थोड़ी बहुत बंद करो. गिरना चाहिए. ये यहाँ पे रखो तो भी चलेगा.
सोमवारी एक पाच तुम्हाला पाठवलं बघा फोटो. Hello. Hello. Once again.
हेलो
So अगर जाना है कार्बन थोड़ा सा हेलो हेलो
हेलो हेलो हेलो
हेलो
हेलो
हेलो
हेलो
I welcome all of you to the interim session of the 59th Convocation of the Institute. In this convocation, we are conferring degrees in a hybrid mode. Along with the graduating students who are present here, we also have students who are participating virtually. All graduating students will also be receiving by email a personalized animated video of their virtual avatar receiving the degree from the Chairperson Senate. You are requested to switch off your mobile phones. Personal photography is not allowed. Official photographs will be provided by the Institute. Removal of mask and shaking hands while receiving the degree is not permitted. Ladies and gentlemen, the interim session of the 59th Convocation of the Institute is about to commence.
I declare the interim session of the 59th Convocation open.
Mr. Adil Jainul Bhai, former Chairman, McKinsey India. Dr. Pawan Goenka, Chairperson of the Board of Governors of IIT Bombay. BOG members, senators, invited guests, professors, distinguished listeners all over the country, parents and relatives of the degree recipients, and of course, finally, dear students and the degree recipients. It's my great pleasure to welcome you all to this particular program, the Interim Convocation, which is the 59th Convocation of IIT Bombay, to award degrees to those who have worked hard and earned their degrees. The last year, it's almost a year now, it has been extremely difficult, not only for all the students, professors, and staff of IIT Bombay, but for everybody in the country as well as in the rest of the world, because of the pandemic, which is still running uncontrolled. But I must say that all well that ends well. In that sense, most of you who at some point were very much worried, what happens to my degree? What happens to my career? I'm happy to say that IIT Bombay, as always, rose to the challenge, made sure that our academic programs ran as per the calendar. The least disturbance that I could offer to our students. Our campus remains safe, and also, even under the complete closure of the institute, all functionalities for the students ran online. We are happy to see that today, because of that, most of you could complete your degree requirements, and it's a happy day for all of you to see that the pandemic did not create more trouble than what they have committed to the rest of the people in the outside. But it's also, I think it's a great opportunity and learning experience for most of you, because you have seen difficult times. You have seen how the nation struggled to keep pace with what is happening. And you came out as a winner by making sure that you passed through the ordeal without much difficulty. This particular journey will make all of you very strong, resilient, and I'm sure this would lead a big kind of a beneficial service to you in reaching higher heights in your own life. So I would pray that all of you learn that whatever you learned here, you make sure you put it to your practice when you go outside, no matter what career you take it up. Some of you may be going for higher studies, some of you for industry, some of you maybe for postdocs, but it should help you. Innovation and improvisation is one of the key things that we always talk about at IIT Bombay. And as we discussed, you know that we rose to the challenge and we were the first anywhere in the world in terms of coming out with the 3D avatar-based presentation of degrees which happened in the last convocation. I'm happy to say that even in this particular interim convocation, for those friends of yours who are not physically present here, all of them will have the opportunity to collect the degree by their surrogate 3D avatars from my avatars. Okay? So stay tuned for that. Okay. So in this particular case, I must say that IIT Bombay has been doing well. If I may say that it was doing very well, but there was kind of a stop that was forced on us. But nonetheless, we are trying to make up for the lost opportunities that happened because of the pandemic. We are, for your information, continuously ranked as the #1 institute in India by QS ranking. We also try to put emphasis on creating new opportunities. And this continued even during this period. And I am happy to report that several new initiatives have taken place in the campus in recent times. We have created several IDDP program, interdepartmental dual degree program, where you can actually get admitted into your undergraduate program in one particular department, and you can get your master's degree in another discipline. And one of the last things that happened was passed in our Senate was an IDDP program in MBA, which means that you could do your undergraduate in any department and you could switch over at the end of third year and you can also earn an MBA right here. We have also done a similar thing on data sciences, an IDDP program. We have also created minor for that, and very recently the Senate has approved a Master of Engineering program for working professionals in innovation and entrepreneurship. There have been several new initiatives which are on anvil. Some of them, a possibility that we are exploring, includes an MTech program on digital health. And also, if you look at the National Education Policy of 2020, which emphasizes on the multidisciplinarity, we would like to say that there have been several such kind of multidisciplinary opportunity for our students, where they could take courses as well as diplomas from various different subunits of IIT. I'm happy to say that very recently, IIT Bombay has set up a Technocraft Center for Applied AI with generous funding from our alumni. And this would be, I think we have received the donation only yesterday. We are also very happy to say that IIT Bombay has set up a technology innovation hub on IoT and IoE, which stands for Internet of Things and Internet of Everything. Okay. Under the funding support of about rupees 175 crore from DST. Dear friends, when you joined IIT, you had a dream. Everybody that gets into the campus by crossing from the main road into this particular hallowed portal of this particular institute, you come with a dream to be an IITian and some kind of a learning experience that will stay with you to take you to the next level. Our faculty colleagues, our departments, our staff, we tried our best to provide the kind of ambience, the lessons in the classroom, outside, in your research labs, wherever it is. Now, a phase of training for you is over. You are a free man walking out this evening out of the campus as a degree recipient of IIT Bombay, a proud IITian. And I am sure this day we will have etched in your mind when you go out, and maybe you come back here after 10 years, 5 years, or maybe 50 years, and you would see what IIT Bombay has given to you. I hope all of you will be cherishing that particular moments that you have spent here. And to that, I must add, one of such person is right here, who also did the same thing like you did in 1977. And today, he is among us as the chief guest of the Convocation. So let me give a quick introduction to our chief guest. Mr. Adil Jainulbhai is the chairman of the Quality Council of India since 2014. He is also the chairman of Networks 18 and TV 18, and is currently the boards of Reliance Industries Limited, Larsen & Toubro, and Cipla. As chairman QCI, Adil is involved in many initiatives across the government to improve quality of goods and services. Through QCI, he has been involved in measuring Swachh Bharat and worked with over 23 ministries. He is involved in projects in infra, healthcare, education, coal, and others. QCI has grown 10x over the last 5 years. Adil retired as chairman of McKinsey India after 34 years at McKinsey. And the last 10 years was spent in India. Prior to returning to India, he led the Washington office of McKinsey and founded the Minneapolis office. Recently, Adil co-edited the book Reimagining India, which featured 60 authors, including prominent businessmen, academicians, economists, authors, and journalists. Adil grew up in Mumbai and graduated in mechanical engineering from the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay. He is also an MBA from the Harvard Business School. Adil is very active in community and social causes. He is a board member on the board of trustees at Saifi Burhani Upliftment Trust, which is redeveloping Bhendi Bazaar in Mumbai, and Piramal Swastha, Piramal Foundation, and Anand National University. In his spare time, he enjoys sailing in Mumbai Harbor. Maybe that's not happening in the last 1 year, but he does enjoy that. Dear students, I take this opportunity to congratulate you all. The journey that you have made, I am sure that you will keep touch with your alma mater. will benefit. So you benefited today from IIT Bombay, and I am sure for the rest of your life, IIT Bombay will benefit from your journey. So stay in touch. I congratulate you all, and I congratulate your parents and other relatives who have also sacrificed so that you could come to that level. Thank you very much. Now I invite Chairman, Board of Governors of IIT Bombay, Dr. Pawan Goenka, for his address.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary. Distinguished graduating class, family members, respected chief guests, esteemed members of the Board of Governors, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, members of Senate, faculty and staff of IIT Bombay, special invitees and guests. It is my pleasure, on behalf of the Board of Governors, to welcome you to the interim convocation ceremony for the year 2021 of IIT Bombay. And I also welcome, a warm welcome to Mr. Adil Zainul Bhai, Chairperson of Quality Council of India. Professor Chaudhary introduced Adil, but I just want to add that it is his belief that technology will lead the nation to progress that I am most excited about. A strong believer in technology, he has said that technology can help leapfrog developments in key social sectors such as education, healthcare, and financial inclusion. And in his role today as Chairman of Quality Council of India, he's trying to bring all of these to our country. Thank you, Adil, for taking time to be part of this convocation ceremony. Today, there are 178 of you getting a degree, and 141 are PhDs. And most of the remainings are MTechs or Masters. I'm assuming that most of you will continue to remain in India, either in education or as research scholars in R&D labs or working for private sector or PSUs. I'm also assuming that all of you are likely to remain close to science and technology, because this is mostly a postgraduate class. Hence, I'm going to spend the next few minutes talking to you about R&D and innovation, about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and about post-COVID life. No doubt that COVID has thrown up challenges like never before. For one, we cannot see your smiling faces hidden behind the mask. Yet, it has also brought out the best from all of us. The resilience, the alternative thinking that our country and our people had demonstrated is unmatched. COVID has accelerated the rate of technology adoption across streams of life. The changes, which would have taken 5-6 years, have happened in just 5 to 6 months, and that too with relative ease. Few examples. Use of telematics, digital transaction, online education, online exams, digital enablement of working from home, connecting virtually with co-workers, launching new products, managing business, policy meetings and deliberations with senior government officers and even ministers on video conferencing, unheard of. Video board meeting couldn't have been done before. Connecting with our family and friends over various social media platforms. Many of us were illiterate about social media about a year ago. We are all comfortable today doing all these things online, which was unthinkable just 11 months ago. In an academic environment, you may not realize the enhancement in productivity and reduction in cost that this is leading to, but you can just ask your director how many unnecessary trips he did not have to make in the last 11 months. And once we are out of the fear of catching the virus, the new normal, in fact, may be better than what we will be leaving behind. The reason I'm bringing this in front of you is that you are entering your career with no past baggage. You don't have to unlearn the past, and therefore, for you to adopt to the new normal, not only adopt, but to define the new normal, will be a lot easier than for many of us who have been too set in our ways of doing things. So you could be the change agent for the new normal, and don't let this opportunity that happens perhaps once in a century slip by. A lot is talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Let me tell you that this is not a mere slogan. There's a lot of opportunity and a lot of seriousness behind it. Opportunity because the geopolitical scenario has changed in just 12 months, resulting in realignment of manufacturing value chains, creating opportunities for Make in India and for India's participation in global value chain. Seriousness because in the last 12 months, the government of India has put renewed thrust on R&D and innovation and has declared path-breaking schemes to lead India to global competitiveness. What does Atmanirbhar Bharat really mean? Atmanirbhar to me is first to take pride in what we do and what our country does. It is about removing all our disabilities. It is about being world-class in our product and service offerings. It is about innovating, developing technology, and creating a pull for our offerings. It is about developing India as a source of distinct value add and of globally competitive technology and become a manufacturing destination. In my view, Atmanirbhar Bharat is one phrase that has the potential to change the landscape of R&D, technology and manufacturing in India. It is the potential to bring pride in innovation in India and made in India. India is well known for Jugaad. While keeping our Jugaad DNA, which is very important, very useful, we need to move up to orbit-shifting innovation. The road to Atmanirbhar will come from technology and innovation, not from labor cost arbitrage. And this is where this graduating class, India's brightest minds, predominantly PhDs, can play a big role. You can create building blocks of inclusive growth by leveraging technology. India needs robust, accessible, and innovative technology solutions to improve the quality of life and be on par with global standards and maybe even define global benchmarks in some cases. Again, puts you, this graduating class, in a situation to make a huge contribution to nation building. Some of you will make a career in academics and will be the sculptors to the next generation of engineers and scientists. Those of you who make a career in industry and research will define the trajectory for India's leap in science, technology, and innovation. And Atmanirbhar Bharat needs solutions for Industry 4.0, robotics, drones, electric vehicles, modern agriculture, data analytics, machine learning, connectivity, affordable and accessible healthcare, indigenous defense equipment, space technology, and even toys and fitness equipment. The list is endless. In my 6 years as chairman of BOG of IIT Madras and few months at IIT Bombay, I had the opportunity to interact with many professors, research science scholars, startups, and students. These interactions have convinced me that the caliber of research and innovation in India is as good as anywhere else in the world. What we need to do is to hasten the velocity from lab to field. And the big opportunity, therefore, is the industry-academia collaboration. Academicians need to better understand real-world issues and problems which need solutions. They need to better understand the real-world expectations on time and cost. Industry needs to get an up-close view to the research you are doing and believe that you can do R&D as good as the famed Western universities. Industry needs to understand that only long-term sustainable competitive advantage will be technology. And a true collaboration will help to create win-win products and solutions which are made in India, made for the world. And again, you will be at the central stage. If you recollect the original vision of IIT, I don't know how many of you have read it, it was to advance the bubbling aspirations of post-independent India towards a modern India. Today, I urge you to renew your zeal and passion to work towards this vision. Today is the time to commit yourself to creating an Atmanirbhar Bharat. So step out and fulfill the great IIT legacy that you are fortunate to have inherited. Step out with confidence and influence the change. And while you do so, do not forget to show your gratitude to those who have prepared you for this. Your parents, your high school teachers, your professors and staff at IIT Bombay. Best wishes to you all. Stay safe. God bless. May I now request our chief guest to deliver his convocation address.
Good afternoon and namaskar to all the students who are graduating. Dr. Pawan Goenka, Professor Chaudhary, Board of Governors, parents, teachers, friends, and some of my colleagues from my class of 77 who I see smirking in the front row. I must say that it's a little, it brings back a flood of memories to be in this convocation hall. Many great memories that we had at the time when this was about the same size but not as air-conditioned or as comfortable. But we had some great programs here and others. But it was also the scene for one of the most searing memories that we had as our class, which affected all of us and certainly affected me. Since none of you were students in 1975 to 77, except I think Professor Mazumdar was here maybe at that time, you may not know that we had some very, very, very difficult professors at that time. And there was a very famous exam that was given by, I shall not name the professor, in this hall. And it was quite traumatic because after about 10 minutes, the first person walked out of the hall. It was a 2-hour exam. There were only 10 questions. I think we couldn't figure out what the questions were, let alone the answers. I think the person who graduated at the top of the class and got the gold, was the gold medalist that year, I think got 15 marks, or maybe 20. He was really good. And the rest of us were just stunned out of our minds as to what this exam was like. And many people at the end of that thought that perhaps they were really not made for IIT, that if this is what it was going to be like, maybe they were better off to leave. I don't think anyone actually left, but I know many people who thought at that time that perhaps this was not for us. So, given that history of this convocation theatre, it is with a little bit of trepidation that I actually agreed to come and give a talk in this convocation theatre, given my given some of the memories that come back from that. I thought I'd spend 5 minutes and just lay out what I would call my unplanned career. Many times when you graduate, and perhaps this is true today, people have a very clear idea of what they want to do when they graduate. Dr. Goenka talked about what you should be doing, etc. I think when we graduated, first of all, IIT was not as well known, and so it wasn't a guarantee that if you graduated from IIT, you'd do well in other things in life. And when we graduated, it was 1977 when the economy was in really bad shape. And so the biggest worry that we all had was, what do we do when we graduate? You know, as long as we were in college, our parents paid for things and it was very comfortable. But once you graduate, what do we do? Suppose we don't find a job. Somebody, I think some of the students as they were talking said, you know, it might be easier to continue education rather than work. And so based on that, I sort of, to hedge my bets, I applied for both engineering school and business school in the US. It seemed to be easier to get into those than IIT or IIMs. And fortunately, I got into both and wound up doing an MBA. It wasn't a considered choice because we didn't really think that we had great choices in life going forward. You just sort of did what you could. And so that's how I got into doing an MBA after I did not follow Dr. Goenka's direction to go out and invent something big and become a scientist, etc. I'll come to that a little later. When I graduated from HBS, it was 1979, which was probably an even worse year than 1977 to graduate in. And I can tell you in terms of the job market, it was a lot worse than 2020 in India. There was inflation in the US, the economy was in the tank, and once again, having hedged for 2 years, we were all worried about will we get a job or not. And I have to tell you, after going to one of the best institutes in the world, IIT Bombay, and one of the best business schools in the world, Harvard Business School, I applied to 100 companies and got rejected by 99. Fortunately, it was not 100, and one agreed, and one gave me a job, and I joined McKinsey. And I was so excited to actually get a job at that stage that I stayed with McKinsey for the next 35 years. I never wanted to take the risk again that I might not be wanted anywhere else. So that's how so the reason I tell you this, just so you have a little bit of my background, and then 15 years ago, I came to India. I was with McKinsey in India for 10 years. I retired in 2013, and I was appointed to be chairman of Quality Council of India. I had never thought really to do work in nation building or the government, but it has been a phenomenal 10 years, phenomenal 7 years since I joined Quality Council of India. As I was explaining to the director, I have a great job. It pays me exactly 0, and it requires me to work 110%. And the impact of it has been tremendous, and so I love that. So that's a little bit of my background. What I thought I would do now is just give you a little bit of perspective, which might be a little different from what you might hear from some other folks. All of you, I'm assuming, as you graduate from here, are going to do extraordinarily well. The IIT Bombay is a phenomenal place to be at. It's a phenomenal place to graduate from. IIT Bombay graduates are in demand all over the world, and you will do fabulously. And I hope that you do fabulously, and I expect you to. But as you do that, I'd encourage you to think over the next 30 years of your career, or next 40 years of your career, about the obligation that you have to many things. The first is the obligation to do something with the intellect that you were gifted with. Not everyone gets the benefit of this kind of intellect that allows you to come to these kinds of universities and do as well as you have done in school, college, etc. When you get that kind of intellect, and when you get the kind of support that most of you have had from your family, from your friends, from your schools, and from this college, and from this university, and from the professors, in addition to giving you a great set of skills, I think it also puts on you an obligation. And I want to talk to you a little bit about the obligation that you have, and I hope that you take up that obligation and do something. And that is to do something for someone other than yourself. I'm just taking it as a given that you will do extraordinarily well for yourself. And that's fantastic, and I hope you do that. And I'll tell you why that comes back to IIT in a second. But I'd also hope that you will take that obligation to do something for others. That others could be anything. It could be your community, it could be your friends, it could be the country, it could be another set of people that you're very excited about. Because with that intellect, you can do much more than what most other people can do. And given that you can, it would be a shame or a waste of that intellect if you in fact didn't do it. So the first thing I would say is you have an obligation given the intellect that you have. The second obligation you have is that you're graduating in a phenomenal time. Sometimes we are lucky to be in a place where one can actually make a huge difference. Imagine if you're born in the middle of the Second World War, or you were born in the middle of the Great Recession, or you were born during the Bengal famine, or you were born through any one of the many difficult times that the country has gone through in the last 200 years. But you're now being born in a country that is going to be the fastest growing country in the world over the next 10, 15, 20 years, major country. You're going to be growing up, or you're going to come out into a world where you can shape what it's going to do. Sometimes you just take advantage of what is there, but many times you get an unusual opportunity to shape the world as it exists, as today. And we have a chance to do that. We have a chance not just because you're in India, but because you're in this generation. It is amazing to be in Silicon Valley where everybody dreams of changing the world. A few will do it, but everyone dreams of doing that. And I think in India, we all dream of changing what is there in India over the next 10, 20 years, and we can put those things in place. One of the things that I learned at Quality Council of India is going around the country and looking at what is the change that is occurring in people's lives, in their day-to-day lives. 20 years ago, you could not imagine that almost everyone in the country has electricity. Somebody was telling me that in 1947, when India got its independence, the total installed capacity in India was 1 gigawatt of power, entire country. Today we are at something like 400 gigawatts of power. That's the change that has occurred. Everybody has electricity, everyone has access to a toilet, everyone has access to a home, everyone will have access to running and drinking water. This is a massive change that has occurred in people's lives. Many of us have had this every day, but hundreds of millions of our countrymen have not. And the reason they have it today is because this is the right time to be able to do all of that with the energy we have and technology which allows us to do all of these things. I wanted to give you an example of some of the things, and this is a program done by 3 IIT graduates recently. Today, as you know, 99% of the country has access to wireless broadband. And we were in a village where the farmer had a slightly better than a 2G cell phone, a little one for 4,000 rupees. He was walking around the field showing somebody on the other side of the phone what his crops looked like. Right? Just took pictures and just showed him what it was. An AI program from those pictures could figure out what was wrong with their rice crop. And the person on the other end would then give them advice on what to do as a result of that. And so instantly they were able to improve their yields and improve their crop. This program was developed by a bunch of 26-year-old IIT graduates with almost no money. And they're now doing it for 15 other, they're doing it for cereals and seeds and tomatoes, potatoes, etc. It's not just that this is a cool technology, it is that it fundamentally changes the trajectory of people's lives in India. And that's why you have an obligation. You're in a time when there's such great opportunity. Why not use it to, in addition to everything else that you're doing, to make a difference in changing the world and in changing India. I want to spend 2 minutes on a little more on technology and how that is allowing us to leapfrog development. This is what I've seen from Quality Council of India and how it allows us to really make a difference. Most of the time, as a citizen of India, you're always trying to get the government to do something for you. You have to get an intermediary to help you understand what you're eligible for from the government, and you have to get an intermediary who will help you navigate the government, and of course they all take their cut as you do that. Today, almost anyone with the new sets of programs that are coming in, with AI built into it, any citizen of the country can speak into a phone using their own native language. It'll get translated into any one of 10 languages that the person on the other side is listening to, and it will automatically connect him or her to the government department from whom they require something. And then that request is completely logged and followed up on, because you can now do that. You don't have to worry about paper trails or anything like that. So all of a sudden, technology is allowing us to have a direct interaction with citizens in a way that we never could before. In fact, in almost every organization that I'm now involved in, we are doing away with paper completely. We don't want any paper. We only want everything digital. And as soon as you do that, so many inefficiencies go away. So 20, 30 years ago, we used to wait for the technology to be developed in the US, Japan, Russia, China, and then 15 years later it would come to India. The great advantage today is that that technology is available instantly. In fact, sometimes some of the best design work is actually being done in India, particularly in software, and now even more so even in hardware. So we have the opportunity to take the best designs in the world, the best technologies in the world, and use the best intellect in the world to do something with it. So I just end on this plea that says, I hope that you succeed. We all hope you succeed enormously. And we hope that, like some of the distinguished alumni from IIT Bombay, you make a mark not just in the field of commerce, in the field of finance, in the field of technology, but also in the field of improving people's lives. And I just wanted to name a few of the people so that you have an idea of the incredible impact that some of the IIT alumni have had. As you know, Nandan Nilekani is, all of you are aware, is IIT Bombay alumni, and he did incredible things in terms of what he's done at Infosys. But over and above that, you know, how they brought in Aadhaar, how they brought in UPCI and various other technology breakthroughs have allowed us to change the nature of the country. Victor Menezes was one of the earliest Indians to succeed in Wall Street and banking in the US. He retired as vice chairman of Citibank. And in fact was, as I said, one of the first people who went into business school from IIT Bombay. For 20 years before he retired, and since he retired, he's been very involved in helping set up the India Center at Harvard as a way of connecting to the rest of the world. In fact, there's a Victor Menezes auditorium, right, if I'm not mistaken. So I think IIT Bombay is very happy that he was not only successful, but he gave back to IIT. My colleague and from my year, Parag Saxena, who is one of the greatest investors in biotechnology in the world, and has in fact given a lecture. I think there's the Saxena lecture, lecture hall. Raj Mashruwala, Karthik Khilachan, Shankar Sastry, and about 50 others, all of whom did brilliantly in their own fields, but at the same time did not forget to use that intellect, that capability, and of course in brackets the money they made, to help out both the country and IIT. So I'd like to end on this without going on for very much longer. I know you want to get your degrees quickly, but I would just like to end on saying this is congratulations. This is a wonderful time to be graduating. This is a great time outside to be graduating. The environment is great. The opportunities are endless. But don't forget your obligation to use your intellect, your capability, and your education to make a great difference. Thank you.
The conferment of degrees will now commence. The recipients of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and dual degrees of Master of Technology and Doctor of Philosophy, Master of Philosophy and Doctor of Philosophy, and Master of Science and Doctor of Philosophy, postgraduate degrees of Master of Science by Research, Master of Technology, dual degree of Bachelor of Technology and Master of Technology, Master of Management, joint degree of Master of Business Administration of IIT Bombay and Washington University, St. Louis, USA, Master of Science and Postgraduate Diploma, and undergraduate degrees of Bachelor of Technology and Bachelor of Design may please rise.
I present to you, sir, Priya G. Nair and others, including those in absentia, who have completed the prescribed course of study and have been found fit for the award of the said degrees, and pray that they be admitted.
By virtue of the authority vested in me as Chairperson Senate, I admit you all, including in absentia, to the award of the said degrees of the Institute, and charge you to be worthy of the same.
The award of the degrees will now commence.
Doctor of Philosophy, PhD, Priya G. Nair. Dighe Sandeep Lakshman. Siddharth Das. Pooja Nag. Rathor Ishan Sanjay Bharti. I'm sorry, Kapil Sadani. Rathor Ishan Sanjay Bharti. My apologies if I mispronounce the next name. It's a Chinese name transcribed into Devanagari. So this is Tian Xiao Yun. Prevna Chandana. Shashank Srivastav. Shalini Tripathi. Farheen Fatima Khan. Sanjeev Panda. Amitrajit Mukherjee. Sakhare Priyanka Ramdas. Sonam Verma. Ashiv Narula. Jagadisan S. Polimeru Vijay Kumar. Dinesh Pathania. Manisha Sebastian. Siddharth Sharma. Shah Rinku Mahendra Kumar. Uttam Rajaram Bagal. Boggavarapu Sairam. Yogendra Kumar Yadav. Rohan Prasad. Amita. Aditya Dilip Nadkarni. Abhishek Chakrabarti. Gupta Yusuf Shankar. Soni Aarti Roshan. Sangeeta Mishra. Arab Julfikar M. Mastan. Vijay Lakshmi. Vasavada Jitesh Kumar Paresh Kumar. S. Arvind Raghavan Geeta. Harindra Kumar Kanojia. Swati Mamgin. Love Gurnani. Riya Mondal, it's not there. Akhilesh Kumar Patel. Bharti Naik. Boski Sharma. Karuna Jayavant Ujwala Dhale. Solanki Ghosh. Shaukat Ali Shahi, not there. Vartika Srivastava. Kulkarni Kalpak Kantrao Swati. Neha Saxena. Dual degrees, MTech plus PhD. Abhilasha Maheshwari. Dual degrees, MSc plus PhD. Padmaja. Trisha Banik. And Vikul Tomar.
Master of Technology, Shakti Singh. Ghatke Vikas Ashok. Dual degrees, BTech plus MTech. Raje Pranab Deepak, sorry. Gupta Tania Sandeep. Bachelor of Technology, Patil Pratik Dinkar. Konkat Ayar Gayatri Gangadhar. Raskar Unmesh Ajay. Mutha Aditya Santos.
The virtual award of the degrees will now commence. The graduates will now stand up and take the pledge.
Good afternoon, dear friends. All degree recipients, please repeat the oath after me. When I say my name, say yours, and when I say my degree, say yours. I, Harindra Kumar Kanojia, PhD of the Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, do hereby pledge that I will always endeavor to be scrupulously honest in the discharge of my duties as a professional. I'll also endeavor to utilize my knowledge for the service of my country, for the public good, and to enhance the prestige of the Institute. In all circumstances, I'll strive to uphold the dignity of the individual and the integrity of the profession. Congratulations. Thank you.
I declare the interim session of the 59th Convocation closed.
The national anthem will now be sung. All are requested to stand up and remain standing at their places till the dignitaries on the dais leave the hall.
Graduates and the family members are requested to remain seated now